Yeah, man. We're here again for another episode of Inside the Mind of. Again, my name is 𝐶𝐍𝐵. We are at episode number 40, and we're going to talk about a lot of things right now. Let's welcome one of our good friends here, Matt Tran. Matt, what's up, man? Hello?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah. The Facebook tag. Yeah, man. Let's check in. Yeah, we're live. Cool. Hey
Wait.
guys, what's up? Thanks for joining. Yeah,
Hold on. I'm so sorry. Almost
it's
done.
all cool.
Okay, done.
So, yeah, for our friends joining in, yeah, if you have any questions again in regards to growing your, if you're starting with your YouTube channel, if you're working with marketing, yeah, you could feel free to comment in if you have any questions. We're just going in and just talking about anything. Hey, Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Matt Tran. I started a YouTube channel 8 years ago, and then it's going strong. This is, I believe, the 9th year in business. So I've been through YouTube through a lot of changes, and I think with every update, it gets a little bit more interesting to survive. And then in addition, I just started selling on e-commerce this year, so something I'm
Oh,
pretty new
ecom.
at.
Oh, yeah, ecom. Ecom, are you doing ecom here in the Philippines also, or are you selling stuff around the world?
I'm selling stuff on Amazon is what I'm doing.
Amazon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I have lots of friends in ecom right now, and they're really doing good. So when did you start your YouTube channel, bro?
I started August 1st, 2011. So it's
Wow,
been a long, long time. I think it's funny
2011.
because I think even then people were
Mm,
saying, "Oh, it's too late to get into YouTube. It's like too late." And then YouTube was already about 5 years old at the time. YouTube barely came out in 2006. So
mhm.
even in 2011, people were saying, "Oh, it's too late to get into YouTube." But I really think it's never too late to get into YouTube.
Yeah, if you were to suggest a content for someone starting, is doing, because two of my friends just started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They're working on reviews, tech reviews.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is that a good thing, or should they just either go into entertainment or some comedic stuff?
No, I think it's a lot easier to make money from a review channel than it is from comedy. Because with review channel, you don't really have to get that many views, and then you'll get companies either give you free products, they'll sponsor
Yeah,
you, or you can make money off the affiliate sales, and you can make a good
yeah,
living much faster that way than as an entertainment channel. I think an entertainment channel, I give them a lot of respect because they have to get probably around 10 times more views to make the same amount as a review channel would have to get to make the same amount of money. So
mm,
it's just, and also I feel like, there's always new technology coming out.
yeah,
So there's always something for you to make a video on. There's always going to be a new iPhone. There's always going to be a new Samsung. But with comedy, how do you keep it fresh after 8 years or after 10 years? Like there's almost no comedians talking about the legendary stand-up comedians that
yeah,
have a career longer than about 10 years at most. If you look at most of the comedians in our time, for example, even Aziz Ansari, right? He comes out with one Netflix special and then he disappears. Even with Kevin
mm,
Hart, he came out with one
yeah,
really good Netflix special. Second one, his most recent one, not very good. And then he's probably going to disappear for a very long time and just do movies, right? So
yeah.
to be entertaining year after year is really hard. So that's why I
Okay.
give a lot of respect to people who have entertainment channels.
Oh yeah, it's kind of tedious also to create scripts, to do the acting, to find actors to actually help you out, right? I agree with that. That's something. Yeah, in regards to your channel, I mean, tell us more about your channel, Engineered Truth.
Yeah, my channel is started off because I was going to college in the States. I'm American, and there's so many people that were getting useless degrees. And then in America, education is very expensive. Student loans is a huge problem in America. There's a lot of people going to student loan debt.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is that a lot of employers don't care about these degrees anymore, or a lot of the best opportunities right now in America don't require a degree, especially in digital marketing, which many of you are familiar with, or e-commerce.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of these people are spending a lot of money on a degree, and then they graduate and they don't have a job waiting for them. It's difficult to get a job. So I decided to make my channel to give realistic career advice. But with the current algorithm, I'm pretty much stuck to talking about particularly engineering or technology jobs. And that's just the game right now, is like, that's just what gets me views.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's becoming a trend here in the Philippines right now about home-based jobs, freelancing.
Yeah.
It's becoming a big wave right now because all the people that I talk to right now are really focused on how can I work from home. Because as you're here in the Philippines right now, you understand the traffic. Fuck, it's
And
really hard.
traffic is so bad in this country, man. It's you guys are
Yeah.
number one in something, which is it's traffic. Yeah, I think I saw that report. I think it was shared like virally like a couple months
Yeah.
ago. Like you guys
Mm,
were number one and number two is India. So I see it as a huge problem for Filipinos. So the good thing is that Filipinos have great English, so
yeah.
it lends you really
Yes.
well to home-based jobs.
Mm,
In addition, a lot of the companies here, they don't pay very well. So I find that even people with degrees, they tend to do home-based jobs just because it pays more than their nursing degree.
yeah, man. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of friends hitting six digits in peso here, uh, doing like 3 to 4, sometimes 2 to 4 jobs. Okay, so they're really sourcing, going to LinkedIn, connecting to a lot of businesses in the US and the UK, and then now it's really skill based. I would agree with you. So if we were talking earlier about some questions, man, and uh, I was asking if ever, man, you'd have a kid in the future, man. How would what kind of education would you actually guide your kid to?
Yeah, that's a tough one because I think a lot of people look up to the United States public education system as the role model. But as
Mhm.
someone that went through the United States public education system, I would say it's mediocre at best. And I don't really idolize it because I went through it.
Mhm.
But I do think that a kid should have a stable school, should go through the normal school system up until high school. I think
Mhm.
it's good to interact with a lot of different types of people. What I would avoid for them personally, though, out of like my own personal experience, is that I would avoid sending them to a school that is not diverse. So I went to
Diverse.
yeah, I went to a dominantly white high school. So a lot of
Mhm.
people have this especially if you're from the Philippines, you have this picturesque like image of a public white high school in America. But even me living in California, I faced a ton of racism toward Asians. Yeah, and this is like not in the 1980s or 1970s. This is like 2003, 2004, 2005. Faced a lot of racism because it's very easy when there's a white majority and like Asian minority to
Yeah.
like pick on the minority because there's
Yeah.
just not a lot of us. And to see that, I think that's something that it's very niche, and like if the experience could be avoided, it's better just to be avoided. So for me, it's really important to go to a school where the races are pretty balanced and it's
Okay.
not ghetto. I think that's a really important experience. Uh,
Mhm.
and then in addition, like there's also these cultural differences between the US and the Philippines. So
Mhm.
for example, I think it's great if someone knows how to do like a little bit of dancing or a little bit of singing. But if you're in my high school and you did dancing or singing, people would just call you gay. And like it's a really huge
Gay.
cultural gay, but it's a huge cultural difference from here in the Philippines because here in the Philippines I see the high school students and middle school students, they practice their dance for their for the class. And I also know that when you're in your first year at a company, they make you do a customary
Every
holiday
year.
dance.
Every
Yeah,
year,
Christmas
man.
dance. It's
Every
like the new
year.
employees have to do Christmas dance. To me, when I first got here and I heard of that, I thought it was so insane because in America it would not fly. Like yeah, the company would probably get sued for trying to make the employees dance. They would call it hazing or something, or embarrassment, or something like they would find a way to sue the company. But here in the Philippines, like
Yeah.
even if a new CEO comes into the company, he likely
Mhm.
has to do the dance as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's insane that the cultural difference, and I think it's fun. So I would want my kid to be, for the most part, get educated in an international school in Asia, whether that's here in the
Mhm.
Philippines or Vietnam or something,
Mhm.
but then only go to like trade school or college in the States. And
Interesting.
for the college, I would limit it to 2 years. So I think that's enough to get the experience.
Yeah,
And
the
then
experience.
a lot of people won't believe how useless college is until you actually go, and then it makes a lot of sense. So unfortunately, from my experience of educating people, because I educate a wide range of high school students and college students, it doesn't matter how many ways I illustrate it or who even says it. There are always going to be people who feel like, oh, well, I want to go to college. And it's fine. Okay, if you want to go to college, go for a 2-year degree. And then they're going to come out. They're like, and I'll ask, well, what have you learned that's useful so far? And they're going to say nothing. And then, okay, now the real training can start. So, and I think like even if I have a kid, even if I tell him like how useless college is, he's still probably going to want to go to college because that's what everyone else does.
Yeah, social proof. Yeah.
It's just social proof,
Well,
and it's just like
yeah,
it's like, and it also kind of sucks if you're 18 or whatever, you're 16 here in the Philippines, and everyone's going to college, and then you don't go as well. It kind of makes you feel like you're left out.
yeah. There's that feeling of being left out. I agree with that. But I also agree with you with after going to college. Sometimes after going to college, you graduate. What now? I mean, you're in line for a job. Here in the Philippines right now. It's really hard, even if you graduate from a mid tech college. It's really still hard to find a job.
I mean,
Here
that's
in the
why
Philippines.
companies could pay here. I mean, my video editor had 5 years of experience,
Mm,
and his previous employer was paying him around 16,500 pesos a month after 5 years of experience, which to me it makes no sense. It's like, how can you pay someone that low? And then
yeah.
when he said, oh, I'm gonna leave for a better paying job, which is my job, they're like, oh, well, actually, we could pay you 30,000 pesos. And it's like, what? Like, if you knew this person was worth 30,000 pesos, why would
Yeah.
you only pay them 16? And I know the business is always trying to make their margin. Like, you should always try to
Yeah.
optimize the business, but like
Mhm.
you're paying someone half of what you think they're worth, right? And that I don't think that's very fair. And uh, when these American overseas companies, home-based jobs come in and they actually give a good market rate for Filipino work, I think you're gonna see some pressure from companies here to actually pay something more reasonable.
Yeah, man. Because I'm coaching some friends in regards to starting their own freelance jobs, right? To get their own freelance jobs. Most uh most of my friends have they're getting rates from $3 to $5 for just Instagram posting. I mean, it's really that's why they're having a good time right now, earning bigger than what they actually were earning years ago. Some are even managers in the companies, and they've worked like 8 years already, and their pay rates are still, down low. But as opportunities come and they hone their skills more, they opt into actually these online marketing jobs, and they're getting paid really well right now. That's nice. Yeah.
I mean, that must be a huge improvement for them. And I think going for home-based jobs is just going to get better because I think a lot of Americans are still discovering that hiring Filipinos is still the best way to do things.
Mm,
Out of all my friends who are entrepreneurs here in on the Philippines or who has an online business, all of them started by hiring overseas workers, like most of the time Filipinos. I've never heard of anyone starting off with not a Filipino. And this is becoming a more and more popular idea. I mean, there's
mm,
still, it's funny if you ask people in the US, like, oh, you hired Filipinos, like, can they do the work as good as an American?
mm.
I'm like, yeah, man, sometimes better. And it's going to be hard to compete because, even with my video editor, he's paid much more than his previous job, but
Mm.
compared to hiring an American, he's still 1/4 of what the price would be, or like one
Yeah.
third of what hiring an American would be. So my business wouldn't even be possible unless I had the Filipino staff.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's okay for our friends joining in. I mean, or watching on replay. It's really a good opportunity to work with your skills now. If you want to change careers right now, it's you have the options in front of you. If you have internet, you have your laptop with you. Some jobs even just require your cell phone. Tinder dating book. I saw a job in Upwork, where all you need to do is book a date for Tinder. It's nice, man.
That's
It's
funny.
nice.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
So for some of my friends in the pickup community, I was vouching them for this job. I mean, hey man, they're paying like $5 per hour just to swipe right and just book dates.
That's
That's
pretty funny.
nice. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
that happens. So yeah, in regards to going back to your channel, how do you have any tips for those people with YouTube channels who are having a hard time with creating content? Because
No, it's
you've
really hard to
been,
give advice because
yeah,
everyone's channel is different. Like everyone's angle is so different from each other.
mm,
It's just really hard to really give advice to anybody. Uh, I would just say it's you really have to learn two games with when it comes to YouTube. You have to know the keyword research and you have to know how to make
keyword.
good videos, like creative videos. So as long as you're playing with both, you'll get a lot of views. Uh, but if you're lacking one, then you won't get anything. So for example, say if you just make very creative videos or you make the best tech review videos,
Uh-huh.
but you don't hit the right keywords because you don't know how to title keywords right because you don't want to learn that game. You just want to focus on the creative. Then you're
Mm.
also not going to get a lot of views. But also on the flip side, if you just focus on like the most best optimization with the right titles and descriptions and your video sucks or it's just not entertaining, then you're also not going to get views. So it's a whole encompassing game of trying to basically get better than your competition. But I would say like generally if you're uploading for the Philippines and you're using some Tagalog, then you're only competing against other Filipino tech review channels. You're not competing against everybody, which I think makes it a lot more less scary to try because you're not competing against the world.
Is that a good thing?
I think it's a good thing because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a MacBook Pro tech review
Mm.
video and I need to compete against everyone in the world to make a better video,
Tagalog.
it's intimidating. But if you just say, oh, I just need to be the best in the Philippines, now it just seems much more realistic.
And you know your competition, so it's easy to work with the keywords. Yeah, noted
Yeah,
noted
yeah.
on that. Noted on
And
that.
also YouTube searches and Google searches are localized. So if someone's looking like best MacBook Pro review, it's going to
A lot of
localize
math.
to up videos uploaded in the Philippines or
Mm.
Philippine-based YouTube accounts first. They're going to show on the top results for a Filipino. But if you're in the US and you type it in, then it's going to prioritize American YouTubers.
Oh, okay. I got it. I'm taking notes, man. I'm not really into YouTube yet. I'm more just focused on what I'm doing right now is more on coaching in regards to personality development. So NLP also, that's my passion. So
Nice.
I'll probably start with YouTube. I don't know, still not in it yet. Still thinking about it. Facebook is my gateway right now. And yeah, in regards to your hobbies, man, what do you do besides your business? I mean, for pastimes, man.
No, a lot of it is just working out. I read a little
Mm.
bit and then I journal. I try to do some like self-development. I downloaded the Calm app to meditate, but honestly, I right now I'm really just focused on business because I have a lot going on, and I would say that's my hobby. I like going to Vietnam. You know, like I like
Uh,
going around a little bit. I don't like to go to like weird countries, like the I don't know, not so safe countries. Like that doesn't really interest me. Like I'm not like an adventurous traveler. Like okay, let's go to the backyards of Kenya. Like I'm not gonna do that kind of stuff. But I like to like travel for fun and leisure. So I like to go around and but for the most part, if you ask me like, oh, what's the thing I like to do that makes me unique is none of them right now.
yeah, man. I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, I go on trips just to just relax. There are some trips in where you have to walk like how many kilometers just to go up a temple. It's kind of tiring.
Dude,
It's
I
really
don't,
tiring.
you know, it's funny. I don't like looking at temples when I travel either, man. I'm not a temple like, because I feel like you get there and you're like, oh, cool, that was cool. All right, then you walk out. Like I could have just saw a picture online or something like that. It doesn't really amaze me. Like it doesn't do anything for me, is what I'm trying to say. Like when I go to Vietnam, like one thing I like to do is like I like to like go on Tinder or like Bumble and go on dates with women and then like get to understand the culture or meet new
Yeah.
friends who are also in the online space.
Which works better for you, Tinder or Bumble?
Bumble works better for me, but
Bumble.
that's my type. It depends on what you're trying to go for.
Yeah, man. Uh,
And I just heard of
I
Badu. Have you heard of Badu?
yeah, Badu also.
Yeah, how
Badu.
would
There
you?
was also Happen. One thing that I liked years back was Happen, HAPN. I think
Yeah,
HAPPN.
yeah.
It's because of the proximity. So if you're in a building, you cross about like five women, you could easily talk to them because you know what I see that we always walk by each other. You could do that opener. But yeah, I'm married now. I met my wife on OkCupid.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's
OkCupid.
funny.
Yeah, that worked. I was
What was your
working with
opening
my
line?
game. You know what? I tried a lot. I started from high, then worked with hellos, and then worked with some lines from movies, and then
What was your
I
line for your
worked.
wife? What did you say to your wife?
Um, you know what? I find you pretty creepy. Find you pretty and sweet at the same time. Mind to chat. That was really. I was just doing copy paste things, but it was really fun. We talked about it a lot. I was talking to a lot of women, asking them what was the best pickup opener that worked for you, and then when they answer, I would use that opener to them. Did it? And then ask them, did it work? And then
It's pretty funny.
yeah, man. I mean, it evolved. The openers that I've been working then evolved from pizza or pasta. These are some openers from friends. So with pizza or pasta, you could create a flow already from that. Have you heard about that opener, pizza or
Pizza or
pasta?
pasta? No, no, no. I think I've heard of it, but I'm not quite familiar.
It's here's the flow, man. Pizza or pasta, and then they would, of course, choose one or not choose at all, right? So if they say pizza, the next question you'd work with is when.
Oh, that's funny.
That fast. That's fast. Okay,
That's
when, and
fast.
then it's a strong pattern interrupt. So they're like, huh? What? Oh, what? When? I'm saying when. And then when they say Friday, it's already a date. So it's a close, right? So if they say you're too fast, or in Filipino, ang bilis mo naman, you're too fast. All you would say is you could already use a double meaning word. What would be slow for you? And then you could play from there, play with interest.
You're a clever dude, and all these kind of things. Your efficiency. You should. I mean, if this never thing, this digital freelancer stuff doesn't work out for you, you should get that Tinder job. Just
I
set
was
up
planning
dates.
on what I do is actually I train for persuasion and sales. That's what I do really. This is something I do for fun and to help some friends who really want to learn. Because working with people in the communities right now, what I work with is NLP and hypnosis. So that's my
Mm.
community here in the Philippines. So hi guys to my friends NLP Hypnosis Philippines. What's up? Yeah, we're learning. So yeah, going back, bro. In regards to e-commerce, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of terminologies running around, and here in the Philippines, they have a term. If you could find your quote unquote winning product, I mean, do you believe in a winning product?
What do you mean by winning product?
How man? How do I explain this? Um, most of the people here who sell in Lazada or Shopee, they're looking for the one product that would sell their winning product. So they are most of the e-com players here are in search of their winning product. They go
Yeah.
to they make their research. It's like if they're in the field of drop shipping, you have to research to find a product that would easily sell.
Hmm.
So yeah, probably that's the term that they use here, winning product. So that's a question that I have. Do you believe in a winning product, or do you believe that you could sell any product with the right marketing?
Definitely cannot sell any product with the right marketing. That's like 100. No way. It's just not efficient to sell a shitty product. It's just not gonna happen. Like for example, one of the products I was selling was a vape bag
Mm.
before, and then last year just so happens that a lot of people died from cannabis vape juices
Oh,
because it
okay.
was an untested product, and then our sales dipped in half. And like, there's no marketing you could do to save that. And it's just like, oh, okay, like you could spend tons of money on ads, but if CNN says, oh, 6 people have died from vapes today, there's no marketing that's gonna save you. it's just too much of an authority and there's too much negativity around the product. You should just switch to something else. And then also if a product has too many competitors or it's uninteresting, then entering that market is going to be quite hard. So I was just reading a book recently called Purple Cow. It's been out for a long time.
Seth Godin. Yeah.
By Seth Godin, yes.
Yeah,
and
man.
So it said, like, if you're going to try to make a new Advil today, like, good luck. Because you know why? Because people already like their painkillers. So if you came out with a painkiller, how are you going to convince people to switch to your painkiller when people have been sticking with the same painkiller since they're born? You know, I've been using Tylenol since I was born. Or why would I use your painkiller? Because Tylenol works and it's effective. Now, unless you're going to come up with something that's better than Tylenol, then there's no point in even trying, right? Same thing with products. If you're picking a product that's already been out for a long time and there's already established brands, there's no point in you trying to go into that market. That's why I think something like cell phone cases is really hard, because cell phone cases of brands are so established that for you to enter the market, it's really, really hard, and everyone sells them.
Yeah. So there's it's research is also important, right? Research is also important in finding a brand that could actually fit the market that you're on right now.
You want to definitely want to pick something that's underserved. That's the most important thing. If something is overserved, such as cell phone cases, it's just too hard. And then once you find an underserved market, you have to find what's your differentiator of what makes your product different. It could be functionality or it could just be design. So a lot of times design is the best, easiest way to differentiate your product. Like a lot of my products, like there's already different versions of it on Amazon. I just chose one that looks better. In my opinion, it looks better than the rest.
So you're playing also with attention. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
I'm just playing with style when it comes to the end of the day. Like a lot of particularly, like, imagine niche products, and I'll just pick on one that I'm getting into. For me, I like wide shoes. The reason I like wide shoes is because I don't like the feeling of my pinky toe being squished in by narrow shoes, right? But unfortunately, if you buy wide shoes, the companies that make wide shoes, for whatever reason, they got to make them look like dorky as fuck. Sorry, dorky as heck. And because they look dorky, okay,
it's cool,
so
man.
they look all right. So they for whatever the companies that make wide, comfortable shoes, they just have to make them look crappy. I don't know why, but they always make them look crappy. So I'm gonna start a shoe brand. Actually, I'll get my shoe right now. Hold on one second.
Yeah, sure, man.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. My photographer has the shoes. So I have a shoe coming out, and then well, I just made a sneaker that looks like a regular shoe. It's just wide, and it looks clean, right? And so I picked something that's underserved, which is wide shoes, and I made it look cool. And if you were into niche stuff, like maybe it's, for example, what else is something that looks bad? Like, for example, I sell like microwave plates, which goes on. Hold on, let's find the product.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Amira, if you have any questions, yep. Shoot. Yeah, we were just talking about some POA stuff. Yeah.
So, for example, like this is one of the products I sell on Amazon. Now, it's a weight plate.
Wow.
It's a microwave plate, so it's just half a pound on each side. So the previous competitors, they made their weight plate look weird. It's hexagon shape, or it's bright colors, it's bright green, it's bright red. Now it's fine because some people don't really mind about the color. Maybe they like the attention, but I think this one looks good because it just looks like a normal weight plate. We're actually the only normal weight plate on Amazon that looks like a natural weight plate that you would find at the gym. So our product is one of the top sellers because a lot of people who want to add, half a pound to their barbell, they just want to look natural. They don't want to like get a lot of attention from the other people in the gym.
Yeah. Well, I saw the sign at the back, at your back again. Yeah, I saw it from one of your videos. No dying. What's that?
No, it's inappropriate, but it's not no dying, no gangbangs.
No. Yeah, maybe you can share for our friends watching. What's the significance of that sign at your back?
So I have a roommate, and we're trying to sit down and think about the rules for the house, and we couldn't think of any rules. So one of my friends who was sitting with us, she suggested, well, what about no gangbangs? And then we all started laughing. But then I was like, wait a second, really? No gangbangs, Anthony? Because he's into some kinky stuff. So the same friend started laughing, and she's like, I'm dying. And I said, hold on, no dying allowed. that's disrespectful. So if you gotta die, you have to go outside. So that's how
Okay.
we came up with the two rules: no gangbangs and no dying. And
That's a good sign. That caught my
yeah,
attention in one of your videos, bro. So, I mean, I had to, when I saw it, oh man, that's a sign. I saw it.
yeah, that sign is a hit or miss. Like some people find it gross, or some people just find it hilarious. But the first
It's
company I
cool.
asked to make the sign, they said
Hmm.
no. And then
Yeah.
the second so I had to go to someone on Etsy, and then they made the
Oh,
sign.
okay. Okay. Yeah, for guys that want to have cool signs, yeah, you could check that out. You could create your own signs at home too. It's really good decorations.
Oh, it's a great talking piece. Like I'm kind of sick of it
Yeah,
now,
man.
but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a really good conversation starter. At least
Yeah.
you have the story already to back it up. I mean, it could last long. But going back, bro. In regards to um, there's a lot of you know buzz around Australia right now. I mean, World
Yeah.
War Three. What are your current world what current news are you honing in right now in regards to world news?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the Australian fires for sure. It's the
Yeah,
worst
man.
situation.
Yeah, man.
Don't know what we could do about it, but it's just awful. In terms of like World War Three, I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, Iran could do a lot of things, but I think I don't know what the end is that. I just feel like it's just gonna be more waste of money for America, but I don't know.
I don't know.
But maybe I don't understand the bigger picture because I feel like maybe we're just doing it to prove that our weapons work, and then more people buy weapons for us. I don't
Hmm.
really see I don't know what the long term play is in doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Because
man.
obviously it pissed off like a ton of Iranians, so I don't really know what's the end goal. But I try
Yeah,
not to delve in too much into international stuff because
yeah,
it's nothing that I can really affect. So it just makes you feel sad, and then you kind of move on with your life.
yeah, man. I feel bad for Australia because yeah, it's really good that it rained though, because it's
It
really
rained.
getting yeah. I just checked like a day ago. So with the rains, I'm not really sure if it's real news or fake news now. So
Yeah.
all I saw was it rained, so at least some of the fires had stopped. So that's
Mm.
nice. But looking at some kangaroos burned, man, that's really sad. That's really sad. Yeah,
Yeah. Super sad.
yeah, man. But in regards to I'm working with a lot of people right now. Amira commented here, PUA, PUA heart. What do you mean by that, Amira? Yeah, she's helping me with my group. I have a group in regards to sales, negotiation, and manipulation. So we're mostly discussing some stuff in regards to human behavior. Yeah, you could join in sometime if you like. We have really random discussions in regards to geekery. There's a lot of Marvel stuff and comic stuff going on, even anime. Do you prefer like comics? Do you read comics or do you watch some anime?
No. I mean, I'm
Mm,
supposed to watch Attack on Titans season 2, but I still haven't gotten
AOT.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably ending soon, man. It's probably ending soon. There in the manga, it's like just like two more chapters and it's done. So yeah, it's a good long run for you because since you're still in season two, if there's season three,
Yeah.
yeah, coming. Yep. But
Well,
in regards to do you have anything that you have to promote here in the Philippines? Do you uh, anything that you'd like to share with our audience right now?
yeah, the last thing I want to say is I'm up for any speaking events around the Metro Manila
Mm,
area. I prefer if the audience was at least a couple hundred, but I'm willing to speak
okay.
for free. And
Okay.
including colleges as well. That's all good. I just asked that the audience not be like any less than 100 or at least, ideally around 200 people, and I'm willing to speak for free. So if you have an event, it doesn't really matter. I'll come in and speak for free, and then you get a free speaker for your event.
Hey man, I'll check that out because I have some friends at some colleges and they probably like someone like you. So do you have any specific topics that you want to talk about? So probably if I could get in touch with some of my friends, I could easily recommend you.
I mean, my specialty is social media and entrepreneurship. So if you be about those two subjects, it'd be good. Could also talk about leadership. Could talk about cultural differences about U.S. and Philippines. But my
Mm-hmm.
two specialties like social media and entrepreneurship. So I gave a speech at Social Media World.
Okay.
That's where I talked about YouTube algorithm, and then I gave a speech at Merriam College where I talked about how to get an online job. Actually, same thing that you do.
Nice, man. Nice, man. I'm taking notes, man. So if ever I get to connect with some of my friends in regards to upcoming events, um, I'll tell them to contact you, or I'll put in a good word. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
help each other. Yeah, in regards to some topics like, what do you think about I'm doing a talk probably this coming January 23. It's in regards to sales, adding value to people. And one of my topics would be collaboration. What do you think about collaboration?
A collaboration in regards to what?
Collaboration in regards to adding value to people, working, boosting each other's brands. I mean, that's something that YouTubers here in the Philippines actually do right now.
Mhm.
They're guesting on each and other's shows so that they could each and promote each other. Yeah, something like that.
And collaborations have been really big for me. I've collaborated with a lot of different YouTubers as well, and for me, most of my money for my YouTube channel that comes from doing collabs. So there's for education channels, you can either sell your own course or you can sell someone else's course, and usually you'll make more money selling your own course initially.
Okay. Yeah.
But the problem with selling your own course is that eventually your knowledge runs out, and then the lifespan of a course is about 2 years. So for example, like 3 or 4 years ago, Shopify courses were like all the in, right? Then that kind of dried up because people got used to it. It got, they were talking about becoming first in the market, and like all the courses out there kind of out there. Then the second thing was like Amazon, right? A lot of people started making Amazon courses. Now I think Amazon courses are kind of fading away too because the market's been served, and the lifespan of that teaching Amazon is kind of fading away as well. So it's, in my opinion, I kind of lucked out in that I chose to be an affiliate for different courses. So I could just sell other people's courses, and I could just sell what's the new thing coming out. And then once that trend dies, I just sell the next thing. Instead of saying, oh, well, now that Amazon's dying out, I have to learn the next course to sell, or I have to make the next course. Like, it's just too hard to stay on top of it all the time.
I agree with you with that. So in regards to what you said, what do you think is next?
What do I think is next? The game is so complicated right now. I think you have to work for a company and understand the whole e-commerce game, and then you have to come out with your own real brand. I think coming out with commodities, like say for example, even like this kind of stuff, like, oh, I changed the design, like that kind of game is getting tighter and tighter. And so when you think of e-commerce, you have to think of something like where like you are not just playing to like sell one product, but you're trying to sell like a new line of stuff that only you care so much that you know the nuances of like what is a good product and what's not. So for me, like I've been looking for comfortable sneakers for a very long time, so I really understand the nuances of a comfortable sneaker. So I know like all the details. And then also, since I'm pretty experienced, I actually used to work for a e-commerce company like several years ago. So I understand the nuances of e-commerce, and like unless you have that full understanding, I don't think you have a chance in today's game. And for the people that want to start their own e-commerce store without working for someone first, I think you're being dumb. I think you're being really naive in thinking how easy it is. It's not easy. So as a Filipino, there's no reason not to work for an e-commerce store, because there's so many e-commerce stores willing to hire Filipinos to do the everyday task, that you will end up saving money by working for one of these e-commerce stores than trying to do it on your own and wasting your money by choosing a dumb product.
Yeah, man. Amira message here, by the way. Looking. Okay, I'll read it after this. I have a question in regards to that. So if you've released your product, what are the chances that how would you feel if other people copied you?
People will copy you.
It's just it happens.
There people will copy you eventually. That's why you have to come out with a brand. A brand is your protection for what you're selling. You know, it's like, you know, if someone, like, for example, we'll take Sperry's, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has copied Sperry's at this point. You could buy like the knockoff Sperry's from Divisoria for
Yeah.
whatever 200 pesos, right? Or whatever, Green Hills. But still, people prefer the real thing if they can afford it, because it's the real thing. It's the most comfortable. It's the most recognized brand. People, and once you reach a certain income, you kind of like, you don't want your friends to know you're wearing the bootleg version from Green Hills, right? You kind of just want to buy the real one. Same thing with a Daniel Wellington watch. Here's a Daniel Wellington watch. Again, like, can I buy the fake one from Green Hills and only like some people will notice? Yeah, but that one person who says, hey, that's not a Daniel Wellington watch, like, I look kind of dumb, right? So it's not even worth looking dumb to buy the off-brand one. So that's why you want to create a brand, so that when people like associate, they're like, oh yeah, that's the real one. Like, it makes you feel like, I don't know, more legit. I mean, if you're young and you don't care, you're a broke college student, it doesn't really matter. But when you're older and you have a little bit of cash and your friends have a little bit of cash, you don't want to look dumb because you bought the fake Sperry's. It just doesn't make you look good.
Yeah, man. I took note of that. That brand is very, very important. I agree with you with that. Yeah, because I asked also because in the training communities here in the Philippines, I mean, most of the time you'd see copies of everything. That's actually normal around here in the Philippines. So that's why I asked the question. But yeah, I missed a comment from Amira earlier, man. She was asking, speaking of openers, ask Matt how random I was. So I'm curious. Everyone's doing things one way. What's his take on doing things outside the box of taking the non-traditional route? This is in regards to what, Amira? Uh, Probably this comment was really earlier on. I'm not sure.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, sure, man. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, again, feel free to comment in. We're just having fun talking about anything. Yeah, we're probably ending in a bit though. So Jerome, yeah, you have a question. Question: how about selling a service? Something not immediately tangible. You get the idea. Hmm.
I mean, selling a service, I
Jesse.
think, is
Yeah.
easier than selling a physical product, I think,
Hmm.
because people really understand selling time. If you're a plumber and my hose is leaking, like, I need you. Like, it's not negotiable. Like, like, it doesn't matter being found, right? So I
Yeah.
think selling services are fine. I think selling services in the Philippines is not being done well. A lot of services don't even have like their Google page or anything like that. So if you're
Yeah.
selling services, it's pretty easy. The only hard part is selling something that is a nice to have. Like, for example, like what you sell is what some people would consider nice to have. Like selling sales training, a lot of
Hmm.
people consider like nice to have. And like, if people already have a successful sales funnel, it's really, really hard to sell them on more sales training. But if someone has a broken pipe, it's like, you don't even have to sell them. Like, the people are just gonna go buy it.
They have
So
to.
they have to
They
buy
have
it.
to buy.
Yeah,
They
they
have
have
to
to buy
buy.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, Jerome, hope that answers your question. Because in regards to marketing here in the Philippines, a lot of service providers go on Facebook ads. That's probably one of the first things to go.
Yeah.
It's rare. Only a few people I would see that have their own funnels, own websites. Only a few. Only a few. Most of them focus first on Facebook pages and Facebook ads
That's
and groups
also
here in the Philippines. Yeah.
that's also why, as a sales trainer, you have to give so much free value first before anybody will hire you
Yeah.
to do any sales training for them. Because the thing about selling sales training is that, one, if a company's sales is going really well, they're not going to hire a sales trainer
Yeah. They
because
don't need.
like, why? You might actually ruin their sales by teaching them something that doesn't work for them. And then
Yeah.
number two, if their sales suck, then they don't have money to pay you. So you're in a situation where less of a necessity it is, more free value you have to give first before you convince people to buy your product.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. That's why for me right now personally, I'm working on not that yet. I'm working on the brand. So this is everything is free. I'm just working, collaborating, helping a lot of people, and planting the seeds. And sooner or later, not thinking about it, it would come. So yeah, I'm still working on it too. So Jerome, hope that answers your question. Jesse, another Phil Am in the house. Yeah, Jesse's one of my good friends. Amira commented already. She was asking in regards to life or business.
Regards to what?
Her question earlier was, what's your take on doing things outside the box?
I think you always have to do things outside the box. I would say it depends. Okay, so for example, if you're selling something that's very traditional and standard, you could get outside the box, like outside the box a little bit, but you probably don't want to screw around it with it too much, right? Like for example, if I'm gonna hire a chiropractor, I don't want him to be all weird and shit. Like I don't want to see some weird advertising from a chiropractor on Facebook. If I'm gonna hire a lawyer and I see a lawyer ad on Facebook, I don't want to see a weird ad, right? Like I want to see something that's more standard or traditional. But if you're selling something like retro sunglasses, now you have a product that's a little bit more playful. You can get really interesting with the branding and the copy. So there you have to be very sensitive to who you're targeting. If you're targeting the titos and titas, maybe it's not a good time to go outside the box. Maybe it's a good time to go inside the box when it comes to marketing and just be really good at what you do and be professional.
Okay. So adaptability is also something. Yeah,
You
understanding
could try both.
your
I would
market.
try
Yeah.
because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs about ads, like, and I always ask them, do the weird ads work better for you, like, you know, like the quirky funny ones, or do the traditional copywriting ads work better for you? And every entrepreneur that I've asked said both have worked well for them. There's not a single entrepreneur that says no, only quirky ads have worked or only traditional copywriting ads have worked. All of them have said both kind of ads, like weird ones and also traditional straight up like sales ones, like get 80% off your da 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 and limited time offer, has also worked as well.
Mm. Yeah, you said about copywriting. How important is copywriting for you in
It's the most
e-commerce or in
it's the
creating
most
content?
important skill. It's the most important skill. It's the most important skill. Everything else can be hired out very easily.
Mm.
Uh, for example, if I need product pictures, I could hire someone here in the Philippines to do that for super cheap, and they're gonna do a good job. So there's no that's not even an issue when it comes to e-commerce, getting nice product pictures.
Yeah.
What an issue is telling the brand story or telling the story through writing. That's the 80%
Yeah,
of
man.
the whole pie, and the 20% is the visuals. And I just talked to my mentor who is helping me with my Kickstarter, and he says the story is the most important part, and the story is all writing, and the visuals is not nearly as important. And I also paid attention to myself when I researched Kickstarter videos. You know, a lot of them were beautiful. They probably spent thousands of dollars because they're shot in America, and I would just zone out because their story sucks. And it was the same. Oh yeah, we're gonna be eco-friendly, and this shoe is made out of recycled bottles. I don't know how many damn shoes on Kickstarter made out of recycled bottles from the ocean. I feel like every single one is, right? And it just got, I guess the story became uninteresting to me. So having that interesting story and being able to tell it in a strong way, copy is the last thing I will outsource out of my company. This is like the last thing I will leave. Everything else, the video editing, the pictures, the website design, everything else can be done by someone who I hire. But the one thing that's really hard for me to hire for is the writing. That's really, really hard. That's the most important part, for sure.
So generally, you do all the writing yourself.
I generally do all the writing myself because it's that important. If someone screws up the writing, the whole thing is screwed. All the sales are screwed, and then we don't make money, and then we have a problem.
I'm taking note of that. Yeah, I do believe I do work with that also on my campaigns because it's you know how your story works out, right? You that's all about it. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, we're running out of time. But do you have any message to our friends watching? And I mean, do you have anything to promote in regards to your YouTube channel? Also, your do you have any gigs here in the Philippines that you want to share? Yeah.
No. I mean, you guys can just follow me on Instagram. It's Engineered Truth. Or you can just follow me on YouTube. It's also Engineered Truth, and that's it.
Oh, any message to those who are starting up?
My message to people, those starting out, especially here in the Philippines, is to work for someone first. That's really, really important because anytime you're starting a business, and this happens in Western countries too, is almost everyone underestimates how much you have to know
Mm-hmm.
to start a business. And for example, recently I opened a Shopify account and I thought, wow, this is a complicated tool. Because even within Shopify, you have all these apps. And
Yeah.
so you have to figure out which email marketing app is the best one. And you just don't know. So you had to sit there and you had to go through it. And then once you figure out which one's the best one, you have to sit there and figure out how to use it. And it's a very complicated tool. And that's just one aspect of starting a business. Like, okay, that is just using Shopify. Now you got to figure out how the heck am I gonna what am I gonna order? Like picking the product is even harder
Mm-hmm.
than using Shopify. Picking the product or picking the right product and like doing samples, and then like getting revisions and then testing the market. Like all this is really complicated stuff. And anybody that underestimates it and just dives into e-commerce without having a at least a fundamental understanding of it from by
Mm-hmm.
working for someone, I think you're definitely gonna get screwed. I would be surprised if you did not get screwed.
Oh, so if ever, guys, if you're starting out, you could probably check for mentors here and abroad. Okay, you could check that out. You could also look for work. There are lots of e-commerce jobs here right now.
That is the
A
most
lot of our,
under e-commerce jobs are the most underserved positions here, on
mm,
online jobs.ph. There is a more of a vacancy for Shopify, Amazon positions than there are anyone else because no school teaches how to do those roles.
yeah, only a few people do trainings here in the Philippines for that. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm seeing. There are lots of people right now teaching how to land online jobs, but there are only a few centered right now on e-commerce. Only a few people. Yeah, it's still growing though. It's still growing. That's nice. So yeah, hey guys, if you have any questions, yeah, do feel free to comment in. Probably we could answer it through the comment section. Matt, super thank you so much for your time here, man, and thank you Amira also for connecting us.
Thank you, Mara.
Yeah, man. So Matt, if ever, yeah, thank you so much again. Feel free to message anytime if I could help with anything. And again, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you, Ken. I'll see you around.
Bye, man. Good night.
Night.